1 week of this. 24 videos, 6 of them long cuts like this one. Today, the use case almost nobody touches because it only makes sense on a phone, the actual production numbers behind the channel including the ones that look bad, and then everything from week 1 worth keeping, including a fairly direct list of where my own advice and my own behavior parted company. First, the feature that only makes sense when you're standing up. It's not a feature at all really, it's a moment, and the prompt for it is 1 line long. Pointed at a sign in a language you don't read. A parking notice with a rule buried in it. The back of a medication box. A form somebody's handed you. A whiteboard after everyone's left the meeting. A wine list you're pretending to understand. None of these are things you plan to look up. And genuinely, this is the whole prompt. What am I looking at, and what should I be worried about? Plus the line I put in everything. If you can't read it, say unclear, don't guess. In front of a form you're about to sign. A confident invented number is far worse than a blank. Here's the split that made it click for me. The desktop is for work you sat down to do. The phone is for the 90 seconds where you're standing in front of something baffling and mildly annoyed. Those are completely different jobs, and almost everyone only ever uses the first one. The second is the one that actually changed my week. And to tell that you've internalized it is simple. You stop opening the app to ask a question and start opening the camera to ask about a thing that's physically in front of you. That switch took me about 3 weeks, and I still forget. Second, what a week of this actually costs, measured rather than guessed. Including the average I'd rather not have published. I nearly quoted the flattering version of it, which is the interesting part. 24 videos, 18 shorts and 6 long cuts. 37 minutes of finished runtime, from 4,500 words of voiceover across 110 scenes. 6 days, no weekend off, and none of it filmed. And the 2 numbers I care most about are both 0. 0 cameras. 0 API calls. 6 real artifacts genuinely built and recorded running. The expense tracker, the CSV cleaner, the novel analysis, the linter, the calculator, and this. And look at the line at the bottom, because it's the one I nearly left out. Average short, 53 seconds, which is under my own minimum. That's days 1 to 3 dragging it down, made before the 65-second floor existed. I could have quoted days 4 to 6 and had a clean number. The reason not to is simple. The moment you start picking which of your own numbers to show, you've stopped measuring and started marketing. Publish the bad number too. And third, the 6 things from week 1 that are worth remembering, with the scoreboard on how well I followed my own advice. 4 of the 6 are things I demonstrably failed to do myself. 1. Pick the model by asking whether the answer is easy to check. If it is, use the cheap one. 2. Don't ask a long document to summarize itself. Ask it the question that needs all of it at once. 3. Name your inputs and your outputs, or you get a shrug. 4. Write down the one thing it must never do. And 5. This is the one I'd keep. Everything in the left column is advice I gave this week. Everything in the right column is my actual record against it. 1 prompt and 7 followed my own rule. My average short is under my own floor. Both columns went in the videos, because a channel that only shows the left one is worth nothing. So that's number 6, and it's the only one that isn't about Claude. Everything on this channel gets checked against something real, and when the check comes back badly, that goes in too. The tax quotes were verified against the PDF. The mortgage maths was run twice. The prompt audit was genuinely 1 in 7. None of that makes the advice better. It makes it possible to tell whether the advice is true, which is a different and much rarer thing. If you're starting from nothing, the order that works is this. Day 1. Pick a model by whether you can check the answer. Day 2. Put your context somewhere it persists instead of retyping it. Day 3. Learn to ask across a document rather than about it. And day 4. Write 1 constraint down before you send anything. That's a week's worth of habit in 4 sentences. And the thing I'd take from the whole week, which I did not expect to be the takeaway. Every video that was worth making came from checking something rather than claiming something. The tax findings were verified line by line against the source. The mortgage figures were computed twice, independently. The prompt audit told me I follow my own rule 1 time in 7, and that became the best video of the week. The pattern is not that Claude is impressive. It's that the checkable version of a claim is almost always more interesting than the claim. Week 2 goes into the settings almost nobody opens. Caching, effort, structured outputs, tools, and the same rule applies there. If I can't check it, it doesn't go in a video. That's week 1. 3 shorts every day and a full cut like this each evening. Week 2 goes into the features almost nobody opens. Caching, effort, structured outputs, tools. Subscribe if that's useful to you. See you tomorrow morning at 8. Same 3 slots, same times.